This next incident happened in Akron, Ohio, on the night of January 24th, 2025. What begins as routine dashcam footage quickly escalates into a devastating collision. A police cruiser, lights on and en route to back up another call, approaches an intersection on West Exchange Street. The posted speed limit here is 30 miles per hour, but the cruiser is traveling much faster, moving at nearly 70 miles per hour as it reaches the light.
Holy sh! Holy sh!
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you're good, bud. You're good, man. I'm sorry.
The cruiser entered the intersection without slowing. A Kia crosses legally through the green light, and in an instant, the cruiser slams into the driver's side door, a full-force T-bone collision that sends both vehicles twisting across the lanes. The impact pushes the Kia into a third vehicle before everything finally comes to a stop. As airbags deploy and glass rains down, the officers inside the cruiser realize what has happened. Injured and disoriented, they climb out, staggering toward the wreckage. Their body cams capture the aftermath. A fractured windshield, flashing lights reflecting off crumpled metal, and the quiet groans of injured drivers nearby. Despite the severity of the crash, everyone survived, but not without consequences. The 63-year-old driver of the Kia was hospitalized with serious injuries, including broken ribs, a fractured pelvis, and spinal fractures requiring surgery. Both officers suffered head wounds and internal injuries, and were transported to the hospital as well. Later reporting revealed that the speed of the cruiser appears to have violated a directive issued just weeks earlier by Akron's police chief, limiting response speeds to no more than 25 miles per hour above the posted limit, unless a supervisor approves otherwise. In this case, the cruiser exceeded that limit by a wide margin. The footage you just saw is a sobering reminder. Even when responding to emergencies, speed carries consequences. Intersections become unpredictable, and a few seconds can change lives permanently. And for the officers and civilians involved that night, the call they were racing toward was no longer the emergency. The emergency had already begun. Next, in Indianapolis, an SUV approaches an intersection just as the light turns red and a pedestrian steps into the crosswalk. Instead of stopping, the SUV runs the red light and is immediately T-boned by a car coming from the left. The force of the impact sends the SUV sliding across the intersection, missing the pedestrian by mere inches before crashing down on top of another vehicle entering the junction. In total, 6 cars are involved in the collision. At the end of the clip, that white car comes into view with another vehicle literally resting on its windshield. A moment that almost feels surreal to witness. But there's nothing amusing about it. That driver was suddenly trapped beneath the wreckage, likely just as shocked as everyone else caught in the chaos. According to the dashcam driver, no one was seriously injured, an outcome that feels almost unbelievable given the violence of the crash. So remember, green means go, red means, yeah, you get it. And with that in mind, we head straight into this next dashcam footage recorded on March 22nd, 2025 in San Marcos, Texas. 2 young women were out for an evening drive, a completely ordinary moment, unaware they were about to witness something they would likely never forget.
We're taken off guard.
Yeah.
Like, I've had many conversations with people where it's like, I wish I would have said something better.
Oh my gosh! God!
Did we just see someone die? Oh my god, 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 oh my god. Wait, what do we do? 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 What do we do? What do we do? I have that on my dash cam. Wait, what do we do? Wait, what do we do? Call 911.
At an intersection ahead of them, a motorcycle collides violently with a car. The impact is catastrophic. Both the rider and the passenger are launched into the air, thrown from the bike with terrifying force before crashing back down onto the roadway. When they land, neither of them moves. The silence that follows is just as disturbing as the collision itself. In moments like this, there's no confusion about what you're seeing, only the immediate realization that something has gone terribly wrong. According to what's known, both individuals on the motorcycle were critically injured but alive. One reportedly required emergency brain surgery, while the other suffered severe spinal injuries that led to back surgery. Their conditions were described as serious, underscoring just how close this incident came to becoming fatal. For the two women in the car, this wasn't just another drive captured on camera. It was a front-row seat to how fragile life can be, and how quickly a normal night can turn into a moment that stays with you forever. And that takes us straight into this next clip from March 2025. It appears to come from Russia and was captured by a dash cam mounted inside a vehicle moving through a busy city street. At first glance, there's nothing unusual about the scene. Traffic is flowing slowly. Pedestrians are visible on the sidewalk. The city moves on, as it always does. Then something changes. Ahead of the dashcam car, a pedestrian steps into the roadway. He isn't rushing. He doesn't appear panicked. He walks as if he believes he has enough time, or that traffic has seen him. But in moments like these, assumptions can be deadly. What follows happens quickly.
Охуеть! Охуеть!
A vehicle approaches, and within seconds, the man is struck. The impact is sudden and violent, cutting through the normal rhythm of traffic. There's no dramatic buildup, no warning, just a routine moment turning catastrophic in an instant. What makes this footage especially disturbing is how ordinary everything looks right up until the collision. There's no chaos beforehand, no reckless driving caught on camera, just a pedestrian and a car occupying the same space at the wrong time. The video has circulated online through traffic incident channels, but very little information accompanies it. No confirmed location, no follow-up reports, no official details about the condition of the man who was hit, and that silence leaves a heavy question hanging over the clip. I'm not an expert, but if you ask me, the chances that he survived don't seem very high. So all we can really do is hope for the best. And it's that uncertainty that lingers long after the video ends. In many dashcam clips like this, the footage spreads far faster than the facts ever do, leaving viewers with nothing but what they can see and everything they can't. This isn't a story about shock or spectacle. It's a reminder of how fragile everyday moments really are, how quickly a normal commute can turn into an emergency, and how, in busy cities, life-changing events can unfold in plain sight, while the rest of the world keeps moving. Sometimes, the most unsettling videos aren't the ones filled with chaos, but the ones that begin just like any other day. And while some crashes come from timing, others begin with intent. In the next clip, a crime spirals into chaos in just seconds. And that clip comes out of the UK. It's one of the most chaotic and unpredictable moments in this entire compilation. What begins as a normal, everyday situation escalates into violence within seconds. A woman was in the process of selling her car when thieves suddenly took advantage of her. They stole the vehicle, ran her over, and fled the scene at speed, leaving her behind. Still panicked and desperate to escape, the thieves continued driving recklessly through traffic. But their attempt to get away didn't last long. Just moments later, they slammed directly into the car belonging to the two men who captured this footage. Take a look.
Go back a bit if you can. Witnesses. Oh, come out, shall we? Yeah. That's what the helicopter was. How's me call that?
It's clear that this crash is exactly what ended the chase. The thieves are caught right there at the scene, their escape cut short by the very recklessness that fueled it. Thankfully, the two men inside the car that was struck were not injured. However, information about the woman who was run over during the initial theft is limited, and her condition was never publicly confirmed as far as I could find. All we can do is hope she survived and is recovering. This clip stands out not just for its chaos, but for how quickly justice follows. In the span of a few moments, a violent crime, a desperate escape, and an arrest all collide. A reminder that reckless actions often end abruptly and rarely the way the offenders expect. And with that being said, we head straight into another great example of that. This next clip comes from dashcam footage captured at the intersection of Buckley Road and Mexico Avenue in Aurora, Colorado. What starts as a routine moment on the road suddenly turns into something far more violent. A motorcycle rider enters the intersection just as a car crosses his path, leaving no time to react. The impact is immediate and devastating. The rider is thrown from the bike, flying through the sky as debris scatters in every direction. For a split second, it looks like one of those crashes you never expect someone to walk away from. The kind that makes your stomach drop the moment you see it unfold. But miraculously, the motorcyclist survived the collision and is still alive today. While details about his condition afterward remain unclear, the fact that he lived at all feels almost unreal given the force of the impact. Incidents like this are a harsh reminder of just how exposed riders are, and how quickly a single mistake or misjudgment at an intersection can change everything. It's moments like these that stay with you long after the footage ends, not because of how dramatic they look on camera, but because of how easily they could have ended very differently. Now, this next clip comes from Russia and is a little different, but not any less devastating. A woman stands in the mountains, filming herself as she speaks to the camera. Her tone is calm, almost joyful. She talks about how beautiful the landscape is, the vastness of the peaks, the sense of freedom that comes with being surrounded by nature. It's the kind of video meant to preserve a peaceful moment, nothing more. But behind her, something unfolds that she never notices.
На такую прекрасную локацию. Друзья, если вы хотите быть такими же гармоничными, как эти горы, записывайтесь на гармонизацию объема губ.
Far in the background, a vehicle suddenly loses control. It drifts off the edge of a steep cliff and disappears from view. Faint but unmistakable screams echo through the mountains. Then comes the sound of impact, the car striking the rocks far below. What makes the footage so unsettling is that the woman continues speaking, completely unaware of what has just happened behind her. She doesn't turn around. She doesn't react. The screams and crash blend into the natural echo of the mountains, unnoticed in the moment. Very little information is available about the incident. I couldn't find any follow-up. No confirmation of what happened to the people inside the vehicle. And that uncertainty lingers heavily over the clip. While there's always hope that they survived, the height and terrain make the outcome difficult to imagine. The video spread online not because of shock value, but because of its eerie contrast. A peaceful monologue about nature's beauty, set against a sudden, unseen disaster, unfolding just out of frame. Life-changing events happening in the background, while the foreground remains unaware. While that tragedy remained unseen in the moment, the next collision reveals a different kind of danger, one that never needed to have happened at all.
Eventually, they're like, well, we're gonna do it. And they jump the fence. Oh, damn. No, no, no. No!
Ah! God! Damn it!
The clip you just saw captures a violent crash that unfolded in Memphis, Tennessee on March 17, 2024. Even without context, the impact alone is enough to be disturbing. The speed, the force, the suddenness of it all. But what makes this incident even harder to process is what came out afterward. According to the information shared alongside the footage, the vehicle that caused the crash was being driven by a 14-year-old. Unlicensed, uninsured, with expired tags and registration. A child behind the wheel of a vehicle in live traffic, putting not only their own life at risk, but everyone else's as well. Details beyond the footage itself remain limited. All I know is that the family in the car who got hit eventually got home safely, although there's been no widely reported official follow-up confirming the full outcome of the crash. But, regardless of the final injuries or consequences, the situation raises a chilling reality. How easily something preventable can turn into a life-altering event. This wasn't reckless driving caught in a stunt video. It wasn't a split-second mistake by an experienced driver. It was a breakdown of responsibility that placed lives in danger. Dashcam footage like this spreads fast, but the questions it leaves behind are heavier than the impact itself. Who allowed this to happen? How often does it happen without being caught on camera? And how close do ordinary drivers come to disaster without ever knowing it? Sometimes the most disturbing part of these videos isn't what you see, it's what you learn afterward. And the decisions behind the wheel only get more reckless from here. The next crash shows how impairment ripples far beyond the driver. The next clip was captured on a dash camera in Oakland, California, on March 1st, 2024. At first glance, it looks like another moment of everyday traffic, until it isn't. In an instant, the scene erupts into chaos. The impact is jarring, violent, and unmistakable, the kind of moment that stays with you long after the video ends. But what makes this crash even more disturbing isn't just how hard it happened, it's who was involved. According to the accounts shared alongside this footage, the rider of the crashing vehicle was intoxicated at the time. They were injured in the collision, a consequence of choices none of us hope to witness. But even more harrowing is the knowledge that children were in the back of the car when it all unfolded. There aren't official news reports widely available tied to this specific dashcam clip, and many details remain private or unconfirmed in public sources. But the elements that are shared paint a picture that goes beyond the crash itself. They touch on responsibility, risk, and the real human cost of momentary decisions. This isn't a reckless driving clip meant to entertain. It's a real event, a snapshot of lives entangled in a traumatic moment. a rider battling impairment, innocent children caught in the consequences. Because when accidents happen at speed, they don't just affect one person. They impact families, communities, and the people left trying to make sense of it all. Let this be a reminder. Safety isn't just a guideline. It's a responsibility we owe to ourselves, and especially to the ones who depend on us most. And speaking of responsibility, the following clip shows how road rage and pushing through traffic ends in seconds. A man's dashcam captures the moment an aggressive driver begins weaving dangerously through traffic, cutting lanes and pushing forward without regard for anyone else on the road.
Oh, look at that.
The driver appears impatient and reckless, clearly determined to force their way ahead, no matter the risk. But within seconds, that plan starts to fall apart.
Okay, time for road rage. Let's see this idiot. Almost crashing out the wall.
The aggressive driver finds themselves boxed in. A pickup truck directly ahead and another vehicle alongside, leaving no room to maneuver. As frustration builds, the dangerous driving continues.
Something stupid, come on. Okay, let's see. You can try. Oh, maybe not. Okay, what are you doing?
The pickup truck ahead taps its brakes, and instead of slowing down, the aggressive driver reacts impulsively, refusing to back off or wait for a safer opening. Moments later, they attempt a desperate move. The driver swerves toward the far right lane, misjudging the narrow gap between the truck and the car beside it. As they try to squeeze through, control is lost completely. The vehicle slams violently into the granite wall. Despite the severity of the crash, the driver, a 27-year-old man, survives with only minor injuries. He is later issued summonses for reckless driving and weaving through traffic. And hopefully, the experience delivers a far more lasting consequence. A hard lesson in how quickly impatience behind the wheel can turn into disaster. Now, this next one is a little different, but I still thought it would fit well in this compilation. In January 2024, when this yellow sports car refused to stop, police deployed a high-tech device designed to bring the high-speed chase to a screeching halt. Instead of continuing a dangerous pursuit, the device activates beneath the rear tire and wraps around the wheels of the fleeing vehicle, instantly stopping all forward motion. The technology is now being introduced by police departments in more and more places, and what makes it even more interesting is where it came from. It wasn't invented by law enforcement at all. The idea came from Leonard Stock, a roofer with zero law enforcement experience, who came up with the concept after watching a high-speed chase on television.
As I was watching it, I was just cringing when I would see that happen. I hope that lives are being saved. That's the only reason I'm doing this.
Here's how it works. As the net is deployed, officers move in close. The device wraps around the tires, and within seconds, the vehicle is completely immobilized. The chase ends without anyone getting hurt.
Some people do think that it shoots out of the police vehicle, but it actually stays attached to the grappler unit and is directed into the tire.
Hopefully, more police departments around the world will continue to adopt this method, saving lives and preventing some of those horrifying crashes we've seen far too often. But even with new tools, safety on the roads remains unpredictable. In the next clip, danger strikes during a routine traffic stop. This dashcam footage was recorded by a police vehicle in January 2024. A state trooper in Oklahoma is conducting a routine traffic stop on the highway when, without warning, another vehicle crashes directly into the scene. The impact sends debris flying and throws the trooper to the ground as parts of both vehicles scatter across the roadway. It's a terrifying reminder of how dangerous roadside stops can be, even when everything appears under control. Incredibly, The trooper and both drivers survive the crash. No life-threatening injuries are reported. Sometimes, the most frightening moments on the road come from the ones nobody sees coming. And with that being said, we've come already to the last one of this compilation. Take a look. The northbound train slams into the abandoned car, destroying it completely. In the aftermath, the driver of the blue car flees the scene. 2 days later, she turns herself into police and is charged with driving without an operator's license and cited for a railroad crossing violation. It's a dramatic reminder that railroad crossings demand patience. Waiting for every signal to fully clear may cost a few extra seconds, but it can be the difference between a close call and total disaster. Now that was all for today, folks. If you enjoyed these horrifying clips, click to see more on the video on screen.